meeting is being recorded.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Mount Tabor Grand Lodge YouTube channel. This is a session that we've been having every 2 weeks to cover or discuss 7 videos that have previously been published. It's our intent so that these discussions help aid and assist us in elevating our intellectual, moral levels, and also move us to a progressive level in life. I want to focus your attention, if you will, on the Blue Lodge Holy Bible Reference Guide and Masonic Maturity Through Scripture. These are 2 books that are basic tools to the Mason. The Masonic Maturity Through Scripture is a good book for anyone who wishes to elevate themselves. So you can find those on Amazon.com. Look under the titles or type in my name and you will come in, they will pop up. Good morning, fellas.
Good morning, brother.
Good morning.
We're talking this morning, we're gonna start off with what I call MAP. Part 1, how do Masons meet? And I started off by saying there were 3 principal engagements, principles of engagement, because as true Masons, we are to be upright in how we meet. Now, some think that's meeting in the lodge, but period.
Period.
If I meet you on the street, how do we meet? Any comments starting off? Brother May, I'll start with you.
I'm come back to mine. I'm come back.
All right, Brother Moore.
How we meet, not just in lodge and things like that. We meet every brother, every brother that I come across. You know, of course we don't do no signs or anything like that there, but once I know your brother, I extend friendship, anything that you may need, because I've had guys that have done that to me that I found out later that they were Masons and whatnot. Got guys from different races and things like that, like for no apparent reason. Let me give you an example. I lost my bank card, right? I don't know. I think I talked to you that day too, brother. I had lost my bank card.
Okay.
Talk to you later, and but I had canceled it because I could cash out some money to my from my bank to my Cash App account, right? So, but the thing is, I was on my way to the dentist rushing, and I was like, okay, let me call and order this bank card because I know it took about 14 days.
Oh crap! My phone died.
Your phone died. Oh,
my phone died.
We see you and hear you. Okay.
But look, so I'm at the gas station. I'm on the phone with my bank, and I guess a brother saw the emblems on my car and whatnot. And out of nowhere, I wouldn't even think, because I'm knee deep in conversation on, like, with the bank. The man came up to me, a complete stranger. Man, what's wrong with your car? Oh, nothing. I'm on the phone with my bank because I'm trying to reactivate my card. The man say, I'm gonna put $20. I ain't even asked. He said, I'm gonna put $20 worth of gas in your car. Went in, paid for gas while I'm on the phone. I'm steady not paying attention. I see the man at the register, but I'm not thinking about it because I don't know this guy. And the man put $20 worth of gas in my car. So I got my bank situation and left. So things like that, I feel like every brother that I come across, especially once I find out you're a brother, regardless of the jurisdiction, I open my hand of friendship to you, introduce myself, and go from there, like utmost. And I can do that with a brother, and we should be doing that with all humanity, but I'm definitely doing it with a brother.
Yeah, well, that's good you said we should be doing it with all humanity, because as 1 Peter 2:9 says, we are a chosen people, we're peculiar. And right. So basically that I use the phrase, we call out of darkness into his marvelous light. So we should be that light at all times. And apparently this guy was shining his light.
Definitely.
to a fellow human being, a fellow man, a fellow brother, and that's the way we supposed to carry ourselves. Principle number one, I said 3 principles of engagement. You shall honor God by practicing the virtues. What are the virtues? Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things, being true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, and commendable. Bottom line.
Period.
Now, we always go back to give and ye shall receive. And if you're concentrating on these principles and walking in those veins of life, pure, honorable, just, and lovely and commendable, then guess what's coming back to us?
The same thing. Same thing.
Mhm.
See, and one of those is very tough to do. Okay. I don't know which one is tough for you, Maze, or more, but it's tough to be true all the time. It's tough to be honorable. Some people
Right.
have trouble being just.
Mm.
Okay. But that's a fight we got to fight.
Right.
Because every man
Listen.
has his demons.
Look, I remember being a young man in school, right, in college, and it was this older, I was like 26, 27, and it was this older, he was a Muslim guy from Saudi Arabia, and we used to hang out, man, he used to cook, like barbecue, you know what I'm saying, and things like that, and he took a liking to me, and we would talk, and the man would do things for me, and, he would like, my young brother, pay this forward. He said, don't
Okay.
ask nobody. He said, if anybody need help with anything, despite what it is, do it. You know what I'm saying? Like that brother, I was in school, man. This brother would like cook. He would throw me money, things like that for no reason. Just because he said he liked the way I carried myself. Like he knew the guys I was running with, my cousin and all of them that was in college as well. He knew them first. And they considered him sort of a friend, but he took a liking to me because I wasn't like them, because those other guys were kind of wild, man.
Okay.
He said, pay it forward, man. And I remember those things, like being a young man. That's why anytime a young man come across me, anybody that if I can help, I'm going to help. No questions asked.
Well, and where are those guys now? That
They
you were running with
live
back
on,
then?
man. Those guys, they turned out to be all right. One guy is a manager of Sara Lee. One is an
Okay.
executive chef. But they were young and wild, man. Like I was a couple of years older than them, so I'm by default. I think we were hanging because my cousin, who's 2 years younger than me, was with them,
Okay.
and things like that. So I wasn't into what they were into.
Right. Right. Well, in order to really, what he was giving you was just principles of truth. Okay. And truth is truth no matter where it is, no matter when it comes up. It's just, again, that movie, A Few Good Men. You want the truth? I don't think you can handle the truth, because the truth is the truth regardless. Whether we like it or not, whether we want it or not, the truth is the truth. And he was giving you some truths to live by.
Definitely.
And I always say with a Mason, we need to become, as true Masons, we got to become what's called a cube. I think the cube is the perfect emblem or symbol for a Mason, because on all 6 sides, it's the same. If
Right.
it's a 3x3 cube, every side is 3x3. Front, back, side, left, right side, top, bottom, all 6 sides, 3x3. What that means is that you are the same everywhere, every time, in every situation. what that means is I or anybody else can depend on you because you are sturdy as a rock. I think there's a record that say that. Sturdy as a rock.
Solid as a rock.
I don't know where that came from, but but I'm not gonna come to you, Brother Moore, shaky, because I know you are some kind of way. Okay,
Right.
so I'm not gonna come to you with that bull come.
Right.
Okay, I'll go to Maze because Maze is a little lax. He gonna work with me, you know. He gonna accept my excuses or whatever the case may be. But I'm gonna leave you alone because I know you are a cue. Hey, man, Mo ain't gonna put up with this. Let me see if I can go hit up Joy. But that's what we do. And when I say we, I'm talking people.
Yeah.
And that's what some Masons do. So truth is truth, no matter wherever it may be, for all times and all people. And a Mason should be a cube. When you accuse your children, your wife, your spouse, your friends, God knows that he can depend on you.
Right.
Now he knows, okay, I can bless Maze because Maze is going to do what I need for him to do for the kingdom. But like I said earlier, if he bless Maze and Maze go out here and buy him a CTS Cadillac and then put these 2.5-foot handlebars on the wheel, okay, how does that serve the purpose of him being blessed?
Right.
So we gotta understand that whatever we do has to be in honor of God. Make sense?
Yes,
Makes a lot of
sir.
sense.
Yes, sir.
So walking in the truth of God is what allows the rich and the poor, the educated and the uneducated, the white collar and the blue collar, to meet together because God is the maker of us all.
Right.
And see, that brother that helped you at the gas pump, he got blessed because of that.
Definitely.
You didn't need to know who he was. You didn't need to say anything because that was between him and his maker. And what it is, I think a lot of times we don't think in terms of what I do is it affects my relationship with the Most High. I'm thinking about me.
Right.
I'm gonna keep my $20. I don't know who this man is.
Right.
So that's the way it goes, you know. Principle number 2, who we meet or see, we need to see them as equal. Wisdom is seeing every member of your life, every member of humanity as equal. Now, we all know different nationalities, races have had problems with this one principle.
Definitely.
Okay? And it's sad because we all claim to believe and love and is in line with the Most High. But then if I'm thinking I'm better than you because you're in Florida and I'm a Texan, we got a problem.
Yeah.
I got a problem. If you black, I'm white, and I think you're lower than me, I got a problem.
Right.
And even though you might be materialistically progressing, somewhere down the line, that problem has to be atoned for. So now we might be talking about generational problems.
Right.
Okay? Because again, the relationship that, you know, I think somebody said, well, man, you know, I did do something wrong. You ask God for forgiveness. and it's supposed to make everything all right. Is that true? Or do you still have to pay for your wrong?
Still gotta pay.
and if you don't pay,
Next generation will.
somewhere down the line,
Right.
that's we don't think about that. We do not think about that. So it's we got to keep in mind that universal brotherhood under universal fatherhood. Now, what happens when you try and meet somebody on the level? You're trying to act correct, come correct because they are good, because they are human. That's all, bottom line. Not necessarily a Mason, but they reject you.
I mean, you still have to be the person that you're supposed to be, regardless if they accept or reject you or not. You know what I mean? Like how I deal, I offer my hand, everybody, I give everybody the utmost respect. And then, you know, there's still people that don't care nothing about your respect, they don't care nothing about whatever. And I just know that that's an area or a person to avoid down the line because you don't want any problems. But you don't go out I don't go out my way personally. I don't go out my way personally to make them feel some type of way because they rejected me. You know,
Right.
that's their issue.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, James 2, chapter 2, verses 2 and 3, and 8 and 9 explains if a man is wearing a gold ring and fine clothing comes into your assembly, and a poor man in a shabby clothing also comes in, and if you pay attention to the well-dressed one and say, you sit here in a good place, while you say to the poor man, you stand over there or sit down at my feet, you're not adhering to the principle.
Right.
Okay. If you're showing partiality, you're committing a sin and are convicted by God's law as a transgressor. Bottom line, partiality is not good.
Right.
Now, here's what I say about the Masonic order. The best way, see, John Moore has been on these videos for a couple of years.
Yeah.
We've been communicating a couple of years. Mays, we met a few months ago. The only way I'm gonna treat Mays the same way as I treat John Moore is if I go by the book.
Right.
Right.
Other than that, partiality is gonna come in. That's why it's so dangerous to do business with family or friends, because they expect you to be partial.
Period. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they expect for you to be partial, and that's a dangerous thing. Okay, we brother's trying to get back in.
Can't hear you, brother. I think you're on mute.
Okay, I got you. It big deal came across the sign, so you muted. Principle 3, show no partiality. Ye shall not do unto others that which thou would not wish them to do unto you. Okay, so we got to strive for peace with everybody. And again, that's how we're supposed to meet. You know, when you're in a lodge meeting, when you're in an assembly, you know, everybody has a voice. It's always sad when some men sit down and say nothing, do nothing, okay? And then in the parking lot, they want to hold a meeting after the meeting, okay? So what does all of this mean? We need to obtain, maintain, and share the goodness of the Creator, the goodness that we have received, because everything is given through us and not to us.
Right.
And in that meeting, in our meeting, there's always somebody who's looking to get something, and if you might be the one that have it. Okay, brothers, let's see if we can do you this time. Okay.
I have something on that point, Grand.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so at night, usually I work Uber and Lyft. So last week, I had the opportunity to pick up a young brother. Now this young brother, he has a troubled background, going through his thing, and he wanted me to take him to Greyhound, and taking him to Greyhound, he was going to go out of town to do something that was going to ruin his body. Basically, he was going to do some clinicals or something, some type of experimentation that was going to mess him up, and he knew he was wrong, but so he got in my car, and I'm usually like, I speak and stuff like that, and I listen to the my YouTube and stuff like that. So the brother got in the car and just started, confessing a lot, talked to me about a lot, and telling me what he was going through. I gave him an ear, and telling me, he don't know what he, really want to do in life, and how he's about to go out of town to, do this clinical trial. So I'm just listening, and my spirit, I stopped him, and I just gave him a revelation, because I remember a few years ago, I got real sick in the hospital due to bad practice with the doctors. They gave me all type of medicine. I felt like they were trying to kill me. But I told him, I gave him revelation on how the Most High saved me and got me out of that hospital and got me to another hospital, because I felt like they were trying to kill me. But I was able to share with this man, some revelation I had, and give him some information about, hey, having purpose in this world, because his brother felt like his life was just over with. And he was basically just going to throw it away just by having these doctors, scientists experiment on them. So as I was driving him to the Greyhound, giving him my revelation, he was like, you know what, brother? That's my sign from the Most High. He was like, man, you know what? Can you go ahead and take me home? So I was like, sure, go ahead and update the app and I'll take you home. So as I was taking him home, I just let this brother know, man, hey, man, you got a purpose on this earth. You're not just here, just to go through this, man. You're here to acquire strength and get closer to your skill, your purpose, to do what you need to do in this world, serve. And I was like, man, we all go through, our ups and downs. And what we have to do is we have to look at these downs, go through it, and acquire the wisdom and strength that's going to help us become better men. I was like, but we can't be out here throwing away our life, which we will not get back, you know what I'm saying? Unless you, get to heaven, you get eternal life. So this brother gave me his ear for about a whole hour, you know what I'm saying? I'm just letting them know some things. And and was also able to give him, exchange numbers with the brother, and send him some videos, because I could tell he was just low in the spirit. So I want to say you never know, who's going through what in this world. And sometimes you have to share your experiences and how you overcame certain challenges or opportunities.
You died again.
Brothers, we see you, we hear you. Okay.
But yeah, that's it. I was able to share the challenges and opportunities I had to go through or currently going through to help uplift this brother's spirit, because he was getting ready to basically commit suicide in my eyes, you know, by letting whoever experiment on you. It was crazy, man. But he gave me his ear, and that was a blessing from the Most High. You know, and this brother, he be in his Bible, you know what I'm saying? He's familiar with the Most High and things like that, but he was at a point in his life where he felt like he was cornered. You know, he was in a dark place. Or
well, you know, when you look at Luke 6:38 in the Bible, it says, it teaches us that if we are a giving and a forgiving spirit, we shall reap the same. See, so most people think that's about money, but it tells us that we all of us have something to give to our fellow man. So even if it's a kind word, even if it's a little instruction and so forth, and by sharing what you've obtained, you will be better able to maintain your spirit. So that when you help somebody else like that, that strengthens your spirit. Okay. And anytime your spirit grows, which that's what we're supposed to do, is strengthen our the spirit that God gave us, then we obtain more peace. We wind up with more power. We wind up with better and more prosperity. So when we talk about MAP, M-A-P, the M is about how we meet one another. Now, part 2 is how we act. So the A in MAP, M-A-P, is how we act. And there too, we talked about 3 principal engagements. Jesus gave us instructions on how to act. Masonry challenges us to change or confirm how we think, because we act according to our thinking. So too many people seek pleasure, or what they call happiness, at the expense of another. Too many seek the easy way to do a thing, but they don't pay much for easy.
You're right.
I was told that 30 years ago. They don't pay much for easy. So as far as how we act, we're supposed to gird up and get things done. And we're given everything that we need. Everything we need is already available. There's nothing new under the sun. Isn't that what Ecclesiastes said? King Solomon said?
Yes, sir.
There's nothing new under the sun. So everything we need is here. All we have to do is go and get it. And both of those denote action, to go and to get it.
Right.
Now, do we choose the good way or the evil way to get it? So we talked about in section part 2 here about the social attitudes, patience, kindness, and goodness. We talked about the fruit of the Holy Spirit, which is in Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 through 25. And the first principle that we talked about in how do Masons act is you do nothing from rivalry or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Okay, let me say that again. Do nothing from rivalry or conceit, but in humility you count others more significant than yourself. Is that registered? Is that okay? Is that a problem?
No, I agree.
No problem.
I mean, how do you justify in an encounter looking at this person more important as being more important than you.
You look at that as if it was you.
Okay. Is that it?
A family member, you know.
Now, how do you say that again? Do nothing in rivalry or conceit.
But in humility, count others more significant than yourself.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, let me do it another way. More you sell insurance.
Yes, sir.
We're not talking about rivalry or conceit, but you're talking to a customer.
Right.
Now you got a house note, you got a car note, you got a child, you got to feed. So does your customer. But in your transaction, this is saying that you view them as being more significant and important than you and your needs.
Right. I see. I see what you're saying, and how you translate that. You do what's best for them, and don't put them in the best policy, or not the best policy, but the policy with the most premium that'll give you the most commission. I understand.
How do you justify that? The
I
company
mean,
is telling
because
you to sell this increasing benefit policy, which is it costs more and yeah, it has a few more benefits. Okay, or the company is telling you to sell this universal policy. Okay, and at the end of it, every year they reevaluate it, and the person might have to put some more money into that policy to keep it solvent, whatever the case may be,
right.
solid. So, but that's what the company is promoting. But the customer, kind of on a tight budget. Now, do you sell what the company want, or do you, in humility, sell them a straight whole life policy? Or if the company is promoting a term for less, what do? How do
I'm gonna
you
do is
handle that? Who's
I,
the most important entity in this transaction? You, the
it would,
company, the customer? What's going on?
the customer actually, because you got to do what's best for the customer. Period. Because in order to be successful in sales and you want to have a long lasting career in sales, eventually, if you start doing what's best for you, only what's best for you, somewhere down the line, something's going to come up to where you might not be at, your integrity might be an issue and things like that, because now you're addicted to all this money from these high policies and things like that. But then you start losing customers because your persistency doesn't stick. You know what I mean? People canceling policies. I mean, I can't afford this, and they go to canceling. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So you definitely want to do what's best for the customer. You know what I mean? In that case, and if you go by strictly the book, not the book of with the insurance company, if you go by scripture and things like that, God's commandments, you're gonna do what's best. You know, for the person, not for yourself. If you want to be good in insurance or any sales, any occupation, I would think you do what's best for the person, because prior to selling insurance, I do customer service, and they have time frames to talk to somebody and this and that and whatnot. And I don't been in situations where I can't do all of that in that particular time. So I'm going to give this person undivided attention, get them what they actually need. And I might take a few dings on a call or something here and there, but I still felt good because I was able to get everything done for the person that needed to be done, not in the allotted time frame that they have. And that's always been my issue. But I think I did that more so not out of knowing what's right from wrong, out of more so out of probably rebellion. I'm not a good company man anyway. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? I'm
Well,
not a good company man.
in the Bible it says, "And the first shall become last, and the last become first."
Right.
So if you are considering these people, whether you're a salesman, whether you're an electrician doing a job for somebody,
There you go.
or whatever, if you place them and make them more significant than you, then that means you're putting yourself last.
Right.
But in the end, scripture says, and the first shall become last, and the last shall become first.
Mm.
Because when you treat people in that manner, then you receive more blessings. You receive referrals. You receive in kind the same thing that you gave to someone else. So, you know, one of my favorite symbol is the hourglass.
Right.
An hourglass will our actions one by one add up to rewards or repercussions here on earth and in heaven. So as that dust is going out of the hourglass from top to bottom, we're either adding or subtracting from what we're going to get. It's just time.
Right.
Okay. And I think we were talking the other night or something and said, I came in naked and I'm going out naked. Now, I know the word is naked, but naked. Okay.
Yeah, but that's just naked.
Yeah. So everything I accumulate, I can mess over you to get ahead. But in the end, somebody else is gonna get what I got.
Yeah.
So principle number one, again, is how do we act? And we do nothing from rivalry or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than ourselves. A lot of times in the lodge, in the church, in the organization, we want what somebody else got. We are critical about what they're doing, if they're the leader or whatever the case may be. But understand, you will never know what the leader goes through until you get in their seat. So you really do have to try and keep your mouth off of the leader.
Right. Like employees love to be like, man, I don't get paid enough for this and that, right? And they think the CEO at the top, you're getting all those bonuses and things like that just because it's cushion, but they don't know what this man or woman is responsible for as far as trying to keep the company, you know what I'm saying, in the black and things like that. Like you hear it all the time in the workplace. You hear it in the news. You hear this and that, all this discontent. But you know, until you get there in that spot, you don't know what these people have to go the late nights and things. Because if we work 40 hours a week as employees, we get to go home at 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever it may be, right? But the people that run the company, the CEOs, the owners of the companies, and they work. They have to be there.
Well, the company owns them. Okay.
Right.
The company dictate what they do. And the other thing too is you tend to get compensated for the size of the problems you solve.
Right.
Okay. If you solving big problems, you get paid big money. But if you working 40 hours a week, then your problems are not that big.
Yeah.
And see, it's always sad when somebody says, well, I don't want that responsibility. Man, I don't want to be a manager because I don't want to deal with people. But see, you might be able to help some of those people by moving into that position.
Right.
You know, and principle number 2 says, be dependable and sturdy in all you do. James 1 verse 22 says, to be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving ourselves. So if we're only hearing and talking, but not doing, we're just deceiving ourselves about how well we are, how good we're doing, and so forth. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards.
Right.
If you are a muffler mechanic and all you're doing is installing mufflers, you've been doing that for 10, 20 years, that's all you're doing, you're not moving forward. Waiting on what they gonna give you, a cost of living increase. Okay, maybe you get a raise. But if you move forward, if you're dependable and sturdy, and you're blessed to become the muffler shop owner, now you're employing somebody.
I agree.
So masonry says, a mason says what he will do and do what he says.
Exactly.
Okay? And if there's a problem, he will let you know in a timely fashion. So right thinking, to have right thinking, you must have right information. A mason's order forever seek knowledge and words of wisdom through studying the Holy Bible, the ritual, attending the lodge meetings, seminars, and fellowship. So bottom line is we came in from the darkness into the light, and we're supposed to want to get more and more and more light. What that means is more and more and more knowledge. So really, when we meet, most of the time when we meet, we should part from one another better than we were when we met. So now don't get me wrong, sometimes we meet for just fun and frolic.
Right.
Okay? But if every time it's fun and frolic, we got a little problem because there's no growth involved. And we all have the power of influence. So if every time you see me, it's fun and frolic, what am I influencing you to do?
Have fun and frolic if that's all we're doing.
Yeah.
That's it. And is that gonna help you take care of your family?
Nope.
Not at all.
You know, I ask this question sometimes of Masons, when does the lodge meeting begin?
When you get out that car, when your foot touch the ground, the parking lot.
That's the answer. That's the answer. It don't start when the gavel, when the wish for master hit that gavel. Starts when you hit the parking lot. All that fun and frolic, you leave back. We don't care what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did or the Houston Texans, the Rockets. That's not important. Who you were with last night and how good it was or how bad it was, not important. We came here for a purpose. And when your foot hit the ground, well, number one, isn't the lodge supposed to represent a holy ground?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sure.
So I said earlier, you see a lot of us that are not on the right path, but we got those compass and squares and those emblems. So understand this, brothers, and I'm not saying their hearts are messed up, but a good heart will produce good, an evil heart will produce evil. A lot of us haven't locked down our heart. We haven't gained possession of our mind. So we wind up going from here to there and everything, and we're not that cued. You follow me?
Right.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Any comments?
It's interesting that you say a lot of us, brother, have not locked down our heart, and then because if you do, and not gaining possession of our minds and our hearts and things like that, because you know, I personally think that's just me. I just think when brothers come into the lodge, even with not as much information as that they're looking, not as much experience, I feel like we're already on a path, and I would assume that all of us are right thinking men. You know, I haven't ran across a lot of brothers that are not. I would assume that though. You know what I mean?
Well, we know what assume mean too.
Yeah, I definitely do. I definitely do. And I just want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I'm not naive, but I want to give every brother the benefit of the doubt, man. Because
okay. I always say, in God we trust. Everybody else we test.
we test.
And some we test twice. When you walk in, if you sit down, you quiet, I'm okay. But see, as soon as you open your mouth, the test begins.
Hmm.
Okay? So I gotta watch. I'm gonna watch how you walk in. I'm gonna watch how you sit down. I'm gonna watch how you handle yourself. And then when you open your mouth, the real test begins. So
Right.
I can't. I'm not gonna say I give you the benefit of the doubt, but I'm in reserve here because remember we're supposed to say much, say little, see and
Listen
hear
much.
much. Okay, that's how we're gonna recognize where you are. Now you might have come in at one of these degrees, but I'm still gonna reserve my respect for you until you show you are worthy of having that degree.
I hear you. I hear you.
Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to, I'm going to treat you any kind of way, but I'm checking you out. In God we trust. Everybody else we test. And see, they say a tree is known by its fruit.
Hmm.
So if you got that high degree, but you come in and you talking rough and rude to the wishful master or the leader of the organization, then I'm look here, I'm watching what you say and I'm hearing what you do.
Right. I see.
So every Mason is asked from whence came you, and every Mason is asked what did you come here to do? You know, how you gonna get what you want? King Solomon in the 9th chapter of Ecclesiastes says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, for there's no work or thought or knowledge or wisdom in death. And that is where we're going.
Mm.
So again, when we start talking about how Masons act, whatever we put our hands to do, we need to do it completely, straight away, without hesitation, and make sure it's done to the very best of our ability. Because that's what we're going to leave behind, that work. And we will be known by that work. Comments, questions?
Nope. Absolutely not. Not on that.
Okay. Principle 3, that of being circumspect. In a Mason, a watchful eye, cautiousness in all his words and deeds is a duty. Your duty is to be watchful and be cautious in all that you say and do. That's why I'm watching you, even though you got that degree way up here. Okay? And I know you might come to me and try and bamboozle me with a little bit of knowledge. Okay? But I'm going to watch what you do to see if what you do is in line with that knowledge.
Mm.
You follow me?
Yes, sir.
So that's why I say, I want to see what you say and hear what you do. Okay?
Let's see what you do.
You're going to get it. You're going to get it after a while. Okay?
I want to see what you say and hear what you do.
Yeah. So having been brought from darkness to light into his marvelous light, we are too, as in Ephesians 5:15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. To talk circumspectly is to walk it is to walk upright. To walk circumspectly, see the personal attitude part of the fruit of the Holy Spirit, faithful, gentleness, and self-control. In summary, following these 3 principles will lead us to love, joy, peace that our Creator intended for us. So we're thinking, we're walking, we're talking epistles, and we're firmly connected vertically. And that's what we want to do, is be connected vertically. So that when we act, our actions are a reflection of what we think. I can't say I love you and then slap you upside the head.
Right. And I always say love is a verb. I always say that love is a verb.
But I love you more. Bam.
And you can't love me.
So the third part of MAP, is how do Masons part? First of all, when we separate, even with this meeting here, when we part, we should be better off than what we were when we started the meeting. Because again, that's part of our legacy that we left.
Right.
We left, see, we all have a power of influence. So what influence are you leaving? What influence have you left when you depart? And it's the same goes true if you're dealing with somebody who is negative, evil, backbiting, gossipy, whatever the case may be. When you part from them, what have they left with you? What do you have to hold on to? That's also why you should have that flusher that I call, like a toilet. You flush some stuff because you don't want, I don't want you, I'm not going to allow you to leave garbage on my front porch.
Right.
Okay. And likewise, I don't want to leave when we part this morning. You say, well, hey, man, I didn't get nothing constructive. All I got was whining, complaining, and negative. So when we part, that's very important. A good rule of thumb for any group, business or individual, to all who listen, let them have, it says, let he who that have ears to hear, hear. How we part is very critical and has a direct bearing on our success or failure. So what we do today, what you leave me with today is important. Okay, there again, we talked about how Mason act. You got these degrees and I'm watching you, I'm listening to you. So when we part ways, do I take what you left with, gave to me, or do I flush it? Gotta make a decision quick.
Okay. Yeah, if your actions are in line with what you what that degree holds, if your actions are in line with what you're supposed to represent, I can take it with me.
Exactly. But you gotta make that decision. You follow me?
Yes.
Because I be joking with folks all the time, but it's really not a joke. I say, if you got a problem, you need to talk to me, no problem. I'll talk to you. I'll give you 5 or 10 minutes. You can complain all you want to. No problem. I'll give that to you. But I will tell you, as soon as we part ways, I'm going to flush it. Because I'm not carrying your garbage around with me all day long.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. Okay? I'm going to forget it. So you ain't got to even worry about me telling somebody about it. The time I spend talking about Mays and his problems, I could be spending on moving myself forward.
Right.
So to be a friend to Mays, I'm going to give him 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah, man, I'm that guy. Right. And my favorite phrase is, man, you got a lot going on. now understand what that comment means.
I kind of get it.
Okay. Moore is in Florida. The hurricane hit Florida. Moore got turned upside down. His life got turned upside down. He calls me and says, Brother Ware, man, my house is flattened. My car floated away down the Atlantic Ocean. The banks, electricity is out and all that kind of good stuff. And I said, Brother Moore, you got a lot going on, man. What did I just tell him?
Shit.
You got the problem.
Exactly.
You got the problem. I ain't taking that problem.
Hey, I hear you, bro. Listen, look, I got a friend when I moved back from Orlando, and I love this guy. Like we grew up together like brothers, like fighting together, doing everything, man. Like we were so close that me and him end up double teaming somebody. I didn't even know it was his relative, his uncle. He just started fighting the guy. Like he saw me, he ran into me and said, "Boy, something just happened, man. This dude did this and that." I asked no question. We used to ride 2-seater bicycles. It was like 4 of us. He jumped on one and attacked the guy right at a bar. We were kids. We like 15. He attacked the guy, and as soon as the guy started act like he was going to get his bearings and come up, I ended up hitting the guy right. It was his uncle. I say, "Man, bro, why you didn't tell me that was your uncle?" You know what I mean? And because I love him, he say, "Nah, it ain't matter. Right or wrong, I was with this guy." Granted, we grew up. Got later, I moved back from Orlando. He wasn't working. You know, I came home. I wasn't home 2 weeks. Had 10 job offers, right?
Right.
And I was telling him because he used to complain, "Man, ain't no working, ain't no this and that." And I'm like, "Boy, if it's construction, this work for men."
Yeah.
I was like, "Man, you can be an electrician, helper, anything," because that's what I was at the time.
Okay.
Oh, now I don't want to be no electrician helper, you know what I'm saying? Because he was a pipe fitter by trade, right?
Okay.
Then, all right, I say, okay, Walmart hire. He say, "Oh, Walmart is for people that are either kids or retirees and things like that." So 3 months, I listen to him complain. I gave him 3 months. I would come after work, talk to him. We would drink a beer or two, and then, brother, after them 3 months, I said, "I can't take this because he ain't trying to make no progress." I stopped dealing with him for 5 years, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 5 years because he wasn't making no progress. He just wanted to complain.
Yes, sir. So principle number 1 on how we part, you should not allow any passion to become your master. Ephesians 5:16 instructs us to walk in the spirit and not to fulfill the lust of the flesh. The lust of the flesh is to get it easy, get it quick, and get it in a hurry. Okay? The spirit, everything on God's green earth operates by way of a process.
Right.
Everything operates by way of a process. Maze is becoming a pilot through a process. You became an insurance agent through a process. You didn't just pick up a notebook, a binder, and start selling insurance. You had to take some steps. You weren't born, dropped out of the womb, and took off running. You had to crawl. You had to walk. You had to then begin to run.
Right.
Everything operates by way of a process. I can remember a person very close to me having some money problems and wanted me to just solve the problem. And I'm going, how long has this been going on? It was a process for you to get into this position. It's going to be a process for you to get out of this position or condition. Okay.
Right.
The bottom line is we have to understand that it all goes back to how we're thinking. Now, what really bites me is when you get mad at me because I won't give you what I got to solve your problem.
Look at that. Exactly.
And that's what happens. Now you go to work, earn your money, but your son wants these $200 tennis shoes, and he's 15, 16 years old, 10, 11, 12 years old. Get mad at you because you won't go spend your money for $200, $300 tennis shoes.
Right. Boy, they used to cost $50 when I was growing up.
Man, I saw a pair cost $700.
Yeah.
Tennis shoes.
Tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Tennis shoes.
Mm.
My grandson the other day called me
Oh,
because my daughter's birthday was coming up.
right.
And that little sucker asked me, tell my Papa, can I have some free money? I want to buy Mom a birthday present. I say, free money? There's no such thing, John. I said, you're going to have to do something.
Right.
He's 10 years old. But he wanted free money. So
Free money, boy.
Yeah, free money. Okay, so everything operates by way of a process. There is no free money. Okay. Principle number 2, you shall avoid and flee from insincere friendships. Oh man, that's my dog, that's my friend. That's the most misused word in the English language.
Listen,
Friend.
that
What is a friend?
concept. And me, I'm gonna say, a real friend though, brother. Y'all don't have to talk every day. Y'all don't have to be there, but they go be there when you need them, a lending ear, because all these guys that we call friends, that we think friends, if they go put me in harm's way, or if I put them in harm's way, am I truly a friend?
No.
A friend, I'm gonna go to the extreme here. A friend, you can put a knife in their hand, put the knife to your throat, lay down and close your eyes. They're not worried. A friend, you can put them in bed with your wife naked and not worried.
Facts. Those are facts.
Huh? A friend,
That's fact.
a friend, okay? Hey, uh, we have acquaintances, associates, and advocates. An advocate would be a friend. That's somebody that's going to be there for you. But these acquaintances and associates, we use that word friendship talking about them. And understand, every best friend has a best friend. Now, you tell me something because we're friends. And you tell me to hold it in my breastplate. Don't tell nobody. But I got a best friend. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to tell my best friend what you told me.
Right.
So now we go back to some of the old things. If you don't want it told, don't tell it. You're going to do something, do it by yourself. Okay.
Right.
But a friend looks upon you as, or you look upon a friend as a second self. Okay. And that's the way we're supposed to. So they always say you can count your friends on one hand and you're going to have fingers left over. Come on now, y'all. You see, we got to call a spade a spade.
I agree.
The person you sit next to at the bar every Friday night is not necessarily your friend.
Absolutely.
That's a man or a woman I know. But we throw that word friend out there. So you got to know the difference and you got to govern yourself accordingly. Now, principle number 3 is you'll avoid idleness, and because that affects your mind. Again, that muffler installer that works for the company, doing it over and over and over again, over and over again. Homework. Idleness, we think in terms of doing nothing, but it could be just in a rut. Okay? So the bottom line is that person, the idle mind is the devil's workshop. And at the same time, they don't contribute anything to you either. They don't leave anything with you. Because then I haven't learned anything over here, so I can't bring anything over here. And when I leave you, I've left nothing. So how did we part?
Part with nothing if you left nothing, and I left nothing.
Exactly. So you always want to be of added value to anyone you meet with. And that value should be left with them. Side note, that's Mount Tabor's main intent, is to be of added value to all who listen and view these videos, to leave them with something that will help them progress. So that's what the Holy Spirit comes in and do. Gives us a word. It doesn't give us a whole scenario, doesn't give us a whole picture. Gives us a word that we can use, capture, develop, and progress with. Now, Titus 2, 7 and 8, verses 7 and 8 tells you to show yourself in all respects to be models of good works. In your teaching, show integrity, dignity, and sound speech, leaving your opponents with nothing evil to say about you. Okay, now we're talking about being a Mason. We're talking about being a supervisor. We're talking about just being a friend. You need to show yourself in all respects model of good works. That means I'm leaving a positive influence on you when we part, when we meet, in the way I act, and when we part. I'm leaving you with integrity through my teaching, dignity, sound speech, and I'm leaving you with absolute good that you can, only good that you can say about me. Make sense?
Yes.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes, sir. It does.
So I think Titus in the Bible, Titus chapter 2, verses 7 and 8, kind of sums up how Masons should meet, should act, and part. And if we pay attention to that, then that takes us to that next video, which says Freemasonry's impact upon your life. Because now you have become of added value to everyone you come in contact with. And that's the impact that Freemasonry should have on our lives. It should cause us to be a positive influence on everybody we meet and see and know. Now, I have no idea how these segments go from one to the other, how they came to go from one to the other and flow like that, except by the Spirit. Okay. Herbert ain't that smart.
That's revelation.
Herbert ain't that smart. So many nuggets in Freemasonry. There's so many of them. In each study session, there's something new waiting for us. Okay. And so it does have an impact upon our life if we allow ourselves, our minds and spirits to absorb it. See, they say we were given, and y'all got me talking too much, okay? I'm gonna just take, y'all got me talking too much. Did y'all listen to these videos again?
Yes, sir.
I listen to them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, man, you're doing a great job.
Hey, Greg, you flowing, man. Come on.
Now he's doing a great job, man, because
doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, y'all got me talking too much.
Now these are great teachings, man.
That's the Spirit got you talking, man. You got it.
Yeah, right. Gotta watch them youngsters more. they'll bullcrog you in a minute.
No, but listen, the impact though, I know what you were about to get into right there, but that particular video, um, how it resonated with me, you know, in my dealings with everything, like work, all of that. Like you heard my comment I said earlier, but I'm not a good company man, right? But since I've been a Freemason, and then since I've been doing the videos with you and things like that, I look at myself different as far as an employee working for a company, whereas I would probably be one of those guys before, like, man, I ain't doing that. That ain't in my job description and things like that. But ever since I've been studying with you, I've been able to see how I can sit. But I've been reading your book since 2019, and then we started doing the videos together. I started participating in 2020, and came across the lesson about you know, giving your word, that one part you say you paid me $200 for 8
Yeah,
hours, and that started resonating with me. And on my job, I saw where that paid off. Whereas I started with a lower wage, and just because I was not complaining, other people left, they were complaining. And it wasn't just me, it was all the people that stayed. And we ended up getting like 3 raises within a year to get us up to the level that we're supposed to be at as far as the marketplace and things like that. And I could have been like, man, I'm like, and just patience. So that's one area in my life where I see Freemasonry has impacted me, to whereas to keep my mouth shut and not to and be patient. Basically, it helped me work
right.
on my patience and things like that. You know, and
Okay.
that's in my work life.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. Uh,
I hungry, Brian.
go ahead.
That, yeah, and same here. When I first, started looking into, masonry and things like that, I was blessed to run into grand videos, and it was right on point, and it was a video about purpose and the law of words. It was right on point with what I was seeking in my life, because I felt like I was missing something, and I was praying for mentorship and guidance, along with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, And I stumbled on Grant's videos, and I'm thinking, because not understanding or knowing what masonry is all about, you have this, its own myth or perception, and I'm watching the videos and I'm, getting understanding, so, and it starts to resonate where I need to go. Then he mentioned his book that I carry around everywhere I go, because I read it, every day, because as I said in the last video, it helps me know where I'm at and continues to feed my spirit,
Yeah.
because from what I've, experienced, it's been a very transformative year for me, just jumping from being a company man to entrepreneurship. It's the knowledge and the wisdom I was able to obtain through this process, through these videos, through the fellowship, has helped me, has helped comfort me through the battles I've been able to, or obstacles or challenges I was able to defeat. So I can say, this has really been very beneficial to me, and also allowed me to just take a look at myself and reflect, realizing and understanding that my kids are watching me, people are watching me, and how am I influencing them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and just reaching the spirit, man, so this has been a year of transformation for me. And I can say this, I'm glad I got in touch with Grant, and I really believe it was revelation for me, because the thing about it is, I'm looking at this man, I got his book, and I find out he's in my city. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
I'm finding
wow.
out he's in Houston. And I didn't know nothing about it. I'm just watching these videos. So at the time of my life when I was praying for assistance, and I just all of a sudden one day got on the computer and just looked up masonry and saw this man teaching about purpose, which is things I like to learn about. You know what I'm saying? I felt like the Most High led me in this direction, and that's just me personally. And so far, going through this journey, I have no regrets. I have no regrets at all, and I'm thankful and blessed to be amongst you brothers. Be able to fellowship and assist in the way I need to assist and become added value. When it's time for me to show up. So
Question. Side note. You say you drive Uber. Does people call you directly to pick them up, or do they have to?
They use the app. They can do both.
They can do both.
Yes.
Okay, because basically you can, with those affirmations, people can call you directly, and then you put them on the Uber platform to show that you're doing it, right?
Right.
Yeah, but hey, I have a magnetic personality. People are calling me and asking me to pick them up and drive them here, there, whatever the case may be, daily.
Listen.
It's just a positive affirmation.
Yes, sir.
Fellas, we're going to jump to questions and answers. Freemasons are known as traveling men. Questions and answers determine what we do, where we go, and the relationships we form. Questions and answers are very, very critical. Okay? So we got the spirit of Masonry is based upon relationship. The Christian faith is based on relationship. Your success or failure is due to relationship. So they always say, I was taught early on, a good Mason, when they meet you, the question in their mind is, what can they do for you? Not what you can do for them.
Mm.
So when I met you, what can I do for you? That's the question. And that's the way it should go. The answers determine our degree of peace, power, and prosperity. So we want to get on the right track. And in order to do that, we got to go back to the basics. Go back to Genesis 1, the general work of creation. Okay. Number 2, the strategy and process of creation. See, everything, as I said, everything operates by way of a process. So we got creation in Genesis 1. Then we got the strategy and process of creation. And then we have to review it and accept it. And that's what God did. Remember, he said back, said, okay, everything I did is good. We can put the plan in motion. Everything is good. Everything works for the good. Everything was created for a purpose.
Right.
Everything. And sometimes you try and figure out, okay, what good is an ant? Well, it teaches a lesson and it is a food source.
A what?
Food source.
No, I'm saying, what good is an, what was it? The ant?
Yeah.
Ant.
Yeah.
As a food source?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Brother John.
I heard somewhere everything is a food source except for man. Of course, to a tiger or a lion, you might be a food source. Okay.
Yeah.
But Genesis questions and answers. Genesis 1:26, God said, "Let us make man in our own image. In our own image, the power to do things and the freedom to choose." Okay, that's where we are, fellas. We got the power to do things and we got the freedom to choose.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So a man comes into the Masonic order on his own free will and accord.
Yeah.
Stop and think about it for a minute. Everything is good. Everything works for the good until we add people.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything works perfectly until we add people. The car Maze is sitting in was perfectly designed, created, and perfectly put together. It ain't gonna break until you add maize.
Right.
Put the miles on it.
That's
The
it.
miles on it. Yep.
That's it. Okay. You know, I mean, it's just everything is good. Everything works good until we add people. So again, the question begins when we added man to the world or to the lodge or to any equation, that's when all hell breaks loose, when we add man. The principles of masonry work without a doubt until you add Brother Ware. You with me on that, more?
Listen, I'm with you because you know, and I say this to myself, not even when I'm talking to people. I'm like, Freemasonry is perfect in itself, but it's the men involved that are not perfect.
Nothing goes wrong until I put my hand on the plow. Okay, y'all are young, y'all don't understand that. The horse is there,
right?
The mule is there, the harness is on the mule. The straps are connected to the plow.
Right.
So everything is ready to plow this field. Nothing goes wrong until I put my hand on the plow and tell a mule to get up.
Right.
That's when it starts to go wrong. The rows can be straight or forward, whatever the case may be. It could be deep enough or not deep enough. Too deep or not deep enough. Until I put my hand on the plow. Until the man puts his hand on that steering wheel, everything works fine.
Right.
I got my wife who was like that one time. Something happened. I said, well, it was working fine till you got in it. Okay. She was really upset with me, but I was just telling her the principle. Until you use it, it's fine.
Right.
Okay. So we got to understand that nothing goes wrong until man puts his hand on the plow. Each man guides his life and actions right or wrong, for good or for evil. That's all it is. And the good thing about it is, if you got your hands on the plow and you're moving, okay, you can make adjustments. So you got to recognize and adjust what you're doing, because you can always make corrections. So there are 5 questions each of us must answer to get on the right side of life and guide our lives for good. 5 questions. Okay. Who are you going to become? You must see the end before the begin. What will you do with your life? When will you start your true journey? The most powerful, timing is everything. Knowing when to do is critical. That's the most important thing in our lives. That's the most important word in our lives. When.
Right.
When denotes timing. Playing football, you're going to go 15 steps, cut to the left 3 steps, and I'm going to hit you with the ball. If you cut 3 steps to the left at 10 steps or 20 steps, you missed the ball. You got to know when to move. Okay, y'all played football?
Yeah, I was a defensive end and defensive tackle.
Okay, got you. So you got to know when to move. Okay? If you don't move when they hike the ball, then you just over there on the defensive line looking at the play.
Exactly.
Why? And that's another critical one. Why were you given the seeds of time, and on top of that, a talent? Everything you need is already in you. All you got to do is try and develop it. All you got to do is work on developing it. How? How do you operate presently, and how will you proceed from here? The most difficult thing that we have to encounter or do is to recognize ourselves and make adjustments.
Right.
Because you got to be truthful. That's a whole new video when you start talking about self-acceptance.
Right.
Okay. One of the best cursing outs I've ever gotten was back in 1994. I worked for this company and my first paycheck was $15. I'm patient. 2 weeks later, my check was $35. So I took myself outside and I talked about myself. Now, I didn't say I talked to myself. I talked about myself. I cursed me out. I asked me what was my blankety blanket blank problem. I need to get myself together. In fact, if I ain't gonna get it together, then I need to be fired. And in fact, that was the summation. I fired myself. Okay. Thought about it a few minutes. 2 weeks, more than double my money. All I need to do is go to that year. Okay, I wound up making about $30,000 from that job. That second year, well over 50 in 95. 96, well over 50. But I had to recognize where I was and what I was doing, and I had to make some adjustments. So I started running. To drive 200 miles and never be out of the city limits in a day, 200 miles in a day, didn't bother me. I stayed up late at night doing my thank you letters and doing this because I had recognized that I couldn't work like I had a job, work like I was the everything. So I made the adjustments. So the answers to those questions, who, what, when, why, and how, will guide you through your life, okay, and into the next. You must supply the answers as guided by your spirit. That is why the spirit is so very critical, because the world is going to say, George, man, you can't work that hard, man. All work and no play makes George a dull boy.
Hear that all the time.
Okay. Bottom line is, when George gets Herbert Ware's age, George want to be able to go where he want to go, do what he want to do, and so forth.
Right.
And if you don't do it now, you ain't gonna be able to do it then. If you don't do the work now while there's day, come on, Solomon. Okay.
Right.
If you don't work while there's day, if you don't work while you're young, you're not gonna have the ability to enjoy life. Let the latter become better than the former. Make your last days your best days.
Right.
So life is spirit driven. Now, y'all hold on to that one, okay? Your life should be spirit driven. I'm gonna leave that one right there. Any questions, comments?
That about your life being spirit driven, right? That ties into what we were talking about earlier. I think one of the videos, a process and things like that, and like, you know what I'm saying, we got to get the flesh in order or control, like the flesh and things like that, because and the reason I'm bringing that up, because I always hear the guys that be like chasing that fast money and they get it, and you working a regular job and you might not be able to get the things that they get, but then you look at the chances that they took and the risks that they took and where their life ended up because they took those chances for that fast money. But then here you are working your jobs or your career, and you steady progressing, and you end up getting there anyway. You got there later. You got there at the time that you were supposed to get there, but you end up getting there and were able to do the same things, and you didn't lose your freedom. You know what I'm saying? You didn't lose a limb. You know, you weren't paralyzed, handicapped. You didn't
You
lose your
had
life.
you had peace.
You're definitely at peace. So
Yeah.
that ties into your life should be spirit driven. Ties into that, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and good will always win. So, you got to work the process. You got to work the process. Everything you do should be decent and in order. That brings us to the last video, decent and in order. Hold on just a minute, fellas.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, come on. Where are you? Oh, okay. Hold on a minute, brothers.
All right. And brother Mays, these videos ever since I've been studying with Grand, man, it got me. You know, I've been a Mason since 2006. I held in 2006, but I
Okay.
swear, studying with Grand, I've been reading the Bible more than I've ever read the Bible in my life. You know, I've read the Bible in my life, and that's the effect that it's having on me. And then the part about being brothers, where you know, you, there's other things that I read, like this book here. You might want to get it. I'm gonna send you a text of it, right? You got
Yeah.
Masonic Meditations.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
You know what? I think
yes.
who the author? It's
Um,
Doctor
it says John T. Marks. I'm gonna send you the information on the book. But
Okay.
how we in the fraternity we learn from our brothers, you know what I'm saying? So we
Right.
got men, we're surrounded by other men
Mm,
on the same journey and on the same path, older men that have already been there,
right.
brothers our age and younger brothers, because we all learn from each other, man. And
Right.
you know, we're striving to usher in the kingdom together, and we learning from different things, like how you were talking to that brother who about to like mess up his life with these trials, man.
Right.
Like, you know, I love helping young brothers like that, telling them like, look, man, you can get a construction job, you can get the CDL, be a truck driver with felon. You know, if you're a felon,
Right.
it, it's not over completely. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
You want
Right.
I try to reach people before they get to that point, but
Right.
because you have more options when you're
Right.
not a felon. But when you're
Yeah.
already a felon, I know you can go to an apprenticeship and you can make good money. You go through the apprenticeship, the electrical or whatever it may be,
Uh,
learn, get that money, and them boys making once they come out of the apprenticeship, man, 30,
right.
35, $40 an hour or sometimes better. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know
Right.
the work, like I'm an advocate of that, man. You know, I was doing because I used to do Lyft,
Yeah.
and I picked up a young brother, he was getting high. He was telling me he was going to take out a grant to go to electrician school. And I'm like, a grant? And I had just started selling insurance, and I was on the Treasure Coast Chamber of Conference, who they were trying to reach people to learn trades. I said, man, look, it's all this construction around here. Go get a construction job, electrician. If you want to be an electrician, let somebody put you through an apprenticeship. You get paid to learn. You don't have to take out no grant to be an electrician.
Right. You don't. Right.
You know what I'm saying? But people don't know where to get this information.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
our job as men to tell to tell boys or men, whoever,
Right.
these are the options. This is where it is, because some people are not informed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let
That's
me
true.
let me
That's
let
true.
me say this. If interrupt, um, Colossians 3 advises us to put off anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, and filthy communications. To put off our old selves, not lying to one another. Everything we do needs to be decent and in order, and it should be in line with truth. So truth don't vary.
Right.
You're going to be known as a hard taskmaster if you operate according to truth, but you're going to be sound.
Right.
You're going to be that cube and be solid.
Right.
So we got to stay straight. 1 Corinthians 14:40 Apostle Paul charges them to let all things be done decent and in order. You want to know where Freemasonry got that decent and in order from? 1 Corinthians 14:40. Apostle Paul charges that church and told them to let all things be done decently and in order. That is, they should avoid everything that was indecent and disorderly. So there again, what we do, what we say comes from the Bible.
Yeah.
In the backyard. Yeah, but what? Oh, it's around the front, around the side. It's not in the back. Yeah, just around the right, that side. I got my cousin here looking at my AC unit. So, but that was it, the decent and in order. And that sums up everything. That kind of culminates who we are, what we are supposed to be about. So if I got a complaint, I want to moan and groan and talk about somebody, is that decent? Is it in order?
No. Not at all.
Especially if it's about a brother Mason.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You got to cut that short. You got to cut that short. You got to cut it out, cut it short, eliminate it. So understand, these 7 videos have really kind of put the cap on how Masonry should be. Okay. I was saying that we can do one more if you want to. And then I'm having the Master Masons, Brother Moore, you're invited to put together a video, a lecture, 10, 15 minutes on whatever topic you want. And we're going to spotlight it. It's going to be your video. I'm going to call you, Zoom in, interview you, and you go to it. Okay.
Sounds good.
But we can do one more, and that is elevate your Masonic consciousness.
Yeah.
Let's do that one. Let's do that one.
Yeah. Okay, well, y'all on here, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put the word out. We're gonna do that one. Elevate your Masonic consciousness, and then we're gonna go into the individual Master Mason lectures.
Sounds good.
So that ought to take us on into the 2023, and 2023 should be very prosperous for all of us. I'm gonna tell you, brothers, I'm gonna tell you, and this is no brag, just facts. Y'all don't remember this, but the Guns of Will Sonic was the old black and white cowboy. Will Brenner was the grandfather, the old man. And at the end of it, they always say something about him shooting and how accurate he was, or good he was. He said, no brag, just facts.
No brag, just facts. I like that.
I like that, yeah, I like that.
Man, look here. 21, 22 was good for the kids. Okay? And I said it going into 21 that it was going to be good. It should have been good. We started this time of the year preparing for 2021. So, you want to get this into your spirit, because 2023 is going to be neat. It's going to be good for those that make it good. See, things work out best for those that make the best of how things work out.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I came up with that. I don't have problems and troubles. I have challenges and opportunities. Okay? So we're going to talk about elevating your Masonic consciousness listen at that one 2 or 3 times. It's even when I made it, it was like 3-4 pages. Okay. So we want that to, I'll send that out and we'll do that in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All
Enjoy,
right, brother.
fellas. Appreciate you.
Enjoy
Stay
you.
in touch with me.
Okay.
Let's get this thing done. Let's show the world how we can do things.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Talk to y'all later.
All right,
right,
talk to
brother.
you, brother.
Okay, bye.